The First Strike, engineering your first land win without begging a bank. Hello everyone, my name is Tessa. I'm here to introduce you to Reagan Rodriguez. Reagan is a futurist who teaches stratosphere wealthy legacy families how to become impact investors. Hi Reagan. How are you today?
How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. I'm excited. Yes, and we've been talking about land for the last couple weeks, so I'm excited to hear about this too.
Yeah. I know that we're kind of pre-recording because we've got holidays that are coming up. You're flying out tomorrow.
Yes.
And I think this will go out. What is it? Probably the 26th, something like that. It'll be so.
Yes.
Let's. I'm going to go ahead and get started, as you were saying about land.
Perfect.
So, if you've been following the series, as Tessa was saying, then notice something about yourself. You're still here. You watched part one where we talked about belief, identity, and the game behind the game. Then part two, we kind of pulled back the curtain on why land is the most underestimated wealth engine that almost no one is using correctly. Yet you're back. So that tells me something very specific about you. You are not just curious, you're circling the gate. So today, I'd like to talk about what happens when you stop circling and then you instead decide to walk through it. Let me call out the pattern that most people never escape. They think that the breakthrough is one more video, or maybe one more podcast, or one more checklist. Look, information is not your problem. If information alone could make people rich, then the YouTube comments would be filled with millionaires, right? So the real problem is that no engineered first win, no designed first strike. And without that first strike, then that first land deal that you can point to and say, I did that, that's mine, then your brain defaults to doubt. So today, I want to give you something different. No theories, no hype, a mental blueprint for your first land win. I want to frame it through how we actually do this inside the capital land acquisition protocol. Not the full training, just enough to give your brain a new default. I know what to do next. That's right. That's what I want you to think. When someone comes into our world brand new, maybe they don't have experience, they don't have a track record, I don't start them with become a land mogul. I start them with 3 moves: the target market, the one type of seller, and 1 exit path. That's it. Not 5, not 15 strategies, not every exit option under the sun, because your nervous system can't execute what your mind doesn't believe it can hold. So let me show you how this works in practice in a simplified version from inside the protocol. The first one would be target market. Let's look at that as number 1. Inside the start one, we dive deep into something I call geographic trigger codes. The patterns that will tell us where the pressure zones are. But for a first deal, here's how simple I make it. You're looking for a county with a growing population, active land listings, not just houses, but also obvious friction, zoning, some kind of scarcity. Why? Because friction, I've noticed, creates inefficiencies, and inefficiency then creates opportunity. In the protocol, we map these zones with data. Here, I just want you to understand the principle. You don't chase cheap. You chase mispriced based on pressure. One target area. You learn its streets, its quirks. Stop being a newbie investor Stop being the quiet expert in that market. The second one would be the type of seller. In part 2, I mentioned the seller synchronization principle, where we classify sellers by psychology, not just a situation. For a first win, I like to start people with one of the simplest profiles, the drained holder. That's the landowner that has held a property for years. They don't live nearby. They maybe don't have a clear plan for it, and they're mentally done than being financially desperate. They're not in a crisis. They're in closure mode. They just haven't said it out loud yet. Your advantage, you're not going to convince to sell. You're going to offer them something they already wanted, a different lane. Inside the protocol, I give word-for-word scripting for each seller type. Out here, I'm just giving you the heartbeat of the message to the drain holder. So this doesn't need to be a burden you keep carrying. I can make this simple and final for you. No pressure, no hype. I want to just give you the clarity. So let's move on to the third one. Oh, that's right. An exit path. Here's where most people blow themselves up. They try and design 5 different exit options on their first deal. Maybe I'll flip, maybe I'll wholesale, maybe I will subdivide, maybe I'll do some kind of seller financing, maybe I'll build. And then the result I've noticed is confusion. And confused operators, they don't close. So inside the land capital acquisition protocol, we're going to use a structure I call the exit hierarchy. It's a ladder that tells you in order which exit to prioritize based on margin, demand, and your current skill level. First win, I keep it simple. Acquire at a discount, exit with a clean cash buyer, no creative structures yet, no gymnastics, no 12-layer financial. Look, here's what I want you to do. Buy right, sell clean, prove to your nervous system, I can do this. Mm-hmm. Then after that, we can then talk about advanced exits, financing plays, and maybe stacking multiple part sales into a portfolio. But your first win is not about maximizing profit. It's about maximizing belief. Let's talk about what actually happens inside during this process. When I put someone through this sequence inside the Underground Club, they do not just learn how to flip land. They make their first real offer. They hear their own voice negotiate with authority. Watch a seller say yes to terms that they never thought they could ask for. And then they hold that first check in their hand. It might be $8,000, it might be $15,000, it might be more. But the amount isn't what changes them. What changes them is this realization. Hey, this came from my intelligence, my courage, my ability to think and act differently. That's where the old story, I'm stuck, I'm behind, I missed my chance, it now starts to crumble and a new one forms. Maybe you can say, I am dangerous with the right framework. That's why I am so protective of this material. Mm-hmm. Because once you see land as a capital instrument, not just dirt, then you can't unsee it. You start spotting patterns when you're driving or not just on podcasts, okay? You start evaluating countings instead of complaining about headlines. You stop scrolling and you start scanning. Now, I want to be transparent with you. You've probably noticed I'm giving you more structure than most people do on free content. Why? Because I'm not trying to impress you. Instead, I'd like to impress upon you, I want you to wake up the part of you that is ready to move. But there is a line that I will not cross. I will not turn the land capital acquisition protocol into just another YouTube playlist. Because inside the Underground Club, we go into precise market selection criteria. We build your actual seller campaigns. We walk through real negotiations. We review your offers. And we dial in your exits based on your capital, risk tolerance, and long-term play. That requires container, commitment, and a consequence. Those things don't exist in the comment section on YouTube. YouTube might be where the spark starts, but the underground is where the fire is contained and directed. If you've watched 3 of these videos now, then this is no longer random. Something in you is asking for a new operating system. So here's what I would like you to do next. Step 1, notice what is happening in your body right now. Is it excitement? Is it resistance? Is it fear? Good. All these signs, all 3 are signs that you're at an edge. Step 2, if you know even quietly that land might be your first doorway and real control and cash flow, look, on the other side, there's a private application for those that want to access the full land capital acquisition protocol. Live guidance from my team at the Fifth Avenue Underground Club, and a path to bring this from an interesting concept into your first engineered win. This is not for the curious. This is not for the dabblers. This is for the already capable who are done waiting. And I guess the step 3 would be, if you're not ready yet, then save this video. Maybe you might want to watch this again in a week. But if you're ready, then don't overthink the moment that you've been asking for. You don't rise when everything's clear. You rise when you decide who you're going to be on the way to clarity. Land is just the asset, but you are the instrument. And if you are ready to tune that instrument for wealth, impact, and quiet power, then the Underground Club door is open for now. I will see you on the other side.
That's wonderful.
Tessa,
Thank
I saw
you
you taking some notes.
I did take
Go ahead.
notes.
Is
You
this
know,
what you
like I
wanted to
said,
add?
I'm very interested in land acquisition, and so that is. I learn from Reagan every time we do one of these shows. Every day I learn, but I do want to just mention. Well, actually, if you don't mind, I know we talked about the steps, and you said you protect this information, and I think there's good reason for you to not just give this to everyone, because it is invitation only, and you want the right people in the room. You want to help the right people that are ready, like you said, to take action. So if you had that feeling inside, you can go to Fifth Avenue, 5thaavc.com, or you can we'll have the new website up soon. So you will be able to go to a new page around it as well. But at minimum, hit the bell to get notifications and save this video so you can come back to it. But thank you so much, Reagan. I'm just impressed with all of your experience in this area, and I'm glad you share it with us.